Today on the show, we're going to show you some new tricks and tactics in the AI space. So artificial intelligence, how you can be using it in your consulting practice, and what's new from Chat GPT-4o. Hi, my name is Russell Pearson. For the last 30 years, I've been working in the spaces of sales, marketing, and technology, and now I help consultants build and manage their consulting practices. And so one of the things we're going to be doing through the podcast and through these shows on YouTube is show you how you can actually do more to grow your business, how you can do more to make your business more efficient, and we'll show you tricks and tactics and technology very much like what you're going to find today. So make sure you subscribe. But today is a show and tell type episode. So if you are listening to the audio version of the podcast, you might want to come across to YouTube to check out the video version, because today we're going to walk through Chat GPT-4o and we're going to show you some of the new features and ways that you can implement them in your consulting practice. Now, there's all sorts of prompts that you can use to get this machine to do the things that you want it to do. And one of the things we've done is we've put a bunch of prompts together so that you've got something to work from. Now, if you want to grab those prompts absolutely for free, you can grab them from russellpearsonprograms.com. We've got a free option there to get the latest prompts that we've got for both 3.5 and for 4o to enable you to start getting into the practice of using these on a daily basis. So go to russellpearsonprograms.com and download that absolutely free. So let's get straight into it. So this is ChatGPT, and if you haven't been and used this program before, then go to chatgpt.com and you can play around with it. When you go and play around with it, it means that you can actually use a free version. It's free to use. Currently, 3.5 is the version you can use for absolutely for free. Then we've got GPT-4 and GPT-4o, which are now paid versions. Now, they're not a lot of money. You can actually, I think it's $20 a month US, and you can use the upgraded version. I have no affiliation with the program at all. It's just one of the programs that I use. There are all sorts of great artificial intelligence programs or machine learning programs that you do all sorts of really interesting things to help you in your consulting business. I'm going to show you this one today because it's got some new features that I really like that I think are worth you knowing about. So let's get into those. Well, the first one is this program before in the 3.5 version was very good at text-based work. So it could write you an article, it could summarize an article for you, it could brainstorm with you and give you suggestions based off the mountain of information that it had. I think it pretty much had everything on the internet up to 2021. But what it couldn't do and what it still can't do is actually reference the internet for you. But there are some really cool tools that you can add. So the one thing about the paid version of ChatGPT is you can have it integrate multiple different types of tools and plugins that will enable you to do more things, like search the internet for you, or a range of other more sophisticated activities to get it does one thing and then the plugin does another. But I just want to show you today the things that are integrated already into the software. So one of those things is it now creates images. Before, you used to have to use a third party to create images because it was just text-based, but now it'll create the image for you. So let's have a look at that. Let's create an image. What do we do? An image of, create an image of two consultants talking and make it photo realistic. Let's see how realistic the actual photo is made, because I do tend to find there's a cartoony edge to some of these, and I think that you can tell that it is created by artificial intelligence, but that's not too bad. Obviously, there's a sort of an illustrative look to it. But this is, I haven't given a lot of instructions. I've just said two consultants talking to one another. It's decided to equalize on the genders, which is great. And it's not a bad looking image. And we could use an image like this to go with an article or to go with some presentations that we might be doing. And it's a really fast way of getting that done. There are no copyright laws currently in that we're infringing by doing this, and so currently you can use it. I don't think you can copyright these images, so to speak. So actually copywriting it as part of your intellectual property. But there is, as far as I'm aware, there is nothing stopping you from using this in whatever form that you're actually, any form that you want to put it out on. So whether that's within your own documents, your own proposals, your own courses, and trainings and things of that nature. So it can create images. Now, what sort of other images can it create? Well, let's just create a little bit more of a fantastic image, which is something like a superhero flying above a city. Let's so I've got to tell it to create it. So create an image of a superhero flying above a city, right? And let's see what it creates. So it just takes a few moments to tick through, and then we'll ideally get an image of a superhero. Now we can get more detailed with this. The more detail, well, there you go. It's actually a fantastic looking image. We can get more detailed with this. The more detailed you get when it comes to images, I find that it doesn't do very well with getting exactly what you want. Now, you can spend a lot of time trying to get it right, but I come from a graphic design and photo manipulation space, so I would probably take an image like this, and if I wanted to put an aeroplane in the sky next to it or something like that, I would go and get an aeroplane and put it in the sky with something like Photoshop, or other people might use Canva. I used to think Canva was a product that didn't do a lot of really fantastic things, but I've noticed more recently it's got very good. Now, let's just try, just for the sake of things, to put an aeroplane in that shot. Can you please add an aeroplane, plane flying in the sky on this image? Now let's see what it does. It probably will change the image. One of the things that I've noticed is that if you want it to make minor detail changes to an image, it'll actually change the image in a larger way than you might want. So you can see it's a different type of superhero. We do have a plane in the image now. It still has that same feel, which is good. It sort of continues along the same feel, but it might not be exactly what you want. But if you're just looking for something fast and imperfect, I guess, to add with something like a presentation or a proposal, you can absolutely do that with this program in seconds. So creating images is a smart thing that it does. Another smart thing that it does is that it can actually read images. And so I want to show you this. This is it. I created an image of a hand. I drew a picture, and you'll see it in just a moment. I drew a picture of a basic website layout. Now, it's not a very good picture, and you'll see that. I'll see if I can grab the actual piece here. It should be on my desktop. No, it's not. It's in my documents folder. It's just a thumbnail of an image, and so I've got this thumbnail there, and I'm going to say, please take this thumbnail sketch of a website and create the HTML and CSS to produce it. Let's see what happens. All right, so you can see there's the thumbnail that I drew just with a pen on a piece of paper, and I took a photo of it. I then uploaded it. It's now having a think, and so you can see I didn't even spell the sentence completely right, and it's creating the HTML. And I'll talk about the HTML in just a second, and the CSS. Now, you might not be familiar with HTML and CSS, but these are the building blocks of a website. And if you can think about the areas that you have expertise in, there'll be things that are technical that you will be able to ask this software to engage with, and it will be able to come back with certain responses because it is multilingual, which means it doesn't just understand languages culturally, it understands languages also on a robotic level. So it understands things like code, PHP, HTML, CSS. And so it's basically got this graphic, and it's now created the HTML and CSS to build it. If I was to put this into a web server, it would it would literally give me an outlook that is very much like this. And I can see that because I can read HTML. I used to be a programmer. So I can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different navigation elements in the top navigation there. And you can see right here there is 1, 2, 3, 4 navigation elements as well. And there's the logo above it. It could tell that that was going to be the logo. Then I've got a heading and a byline in there. It's created a space for that with a heading and a paragraph tag. And then underneath that you can see it's got 3 footer items, and you can see on the image that there are 3 footer items there as well. So taking a hand-drawn graphic and having it take that and implement it into code is an amazing jump forward. Right? Now, I could absolutely write that without having to do the thumbnail and the quick sketch, but it's just sped it up. I don't have to write it. I could just do a quick sketch and then say, create the code for me. And what I love about this, and I'm just going to switch back to the other view for a second. What I love about this is the ability to take things like code or other technical information and say, what is wrong with this? So I can pull a piece of code out that's not working and I can give it to the piece of software and it will debug it for me and tell me, it'll either fix it for me or tell me how I can fix it. Now, the same thing can happen with documents. You can put a document in there. Now, you can do this with 3.5 as well. Put a document in it and it will it'll fix the changes. Now, depending on where you are in the world, so if you're using US English or let's say UK English or Australian English, for instance, it will change the words like in revolutionize would be a Z or a Z in the US, and it'll be an S in revolutionize, whether it's in Australia or in the UK. So you've just got to tell it which version of English or what version of the language that you're actually wanting to speak, and then it can actually work with that. What I like about Chat GPT-4o is it now looks at larger data samples. So with 3.5, you would give it some information, and after a while, it would start forgetting things. It would start forgetting what you said previously. With 4.0 or 4o, it remembers things a lot more. So there's a much deeper memory set that it has. So it will remember what you said within the same conversation, and you can do hours worth of work, and it will continue to remember your preferences or what you had said in the past. Now, the same thing with that happens with large documents. So large documents, you can now feed into it. I'm talking about hundreds of pages documents. It might take them in chunks, but it can take the entire document, and then it can take that and summarize and do all sorts of things with it. Now, I want to show you quickly an example of summarization. So we'll jump back to here, and I'm going to upload another document. Now, this document I'm going to upload is a simple, and before I jump onto that, it's a simple game. And this simple game is just a team game that you can use. So this is a team collaboration game it's called the aeroplane game, and it's about building an aeroplane and then flying it off. Now it has, I think, about 8 pages worth of instructions, so quite detailed instructions. I'm going to ask it to summarize it into 1 page of instructions. So this document has instructions for a game. Can you please summarize the instructions to fit on 1 page and be very clear and easy to read? All right, so when would we do this? Well, we would definitely do this when summarize. When we've got, say, large instructions, instruction manuals, or where we've written complicated instructions, and some people have difficulty reading complicated instructions. So you can take something that's quite large that you might have written in the past and not just summarize, because we're not just summarizing this. So can you please, I'm just going to change it actually. Can you please summarize, can you please rewrite the instructions to fit on 1 page? All right, so it's not just going to summarize them, it's going to actually get the right instructions so that we are able to run the game effectively in the way that it was meant to be run. So it's going to take this stuff. Here you go, the aeroplane game instructions. It gives us this overview. There's the purpose and the setup, some specific instructions on how to actually get it done. Then there's a debrief process, and there's some tips for facilitators. So this is an 8-page instructional manual, and we've been able to pretty much get it into 1 page. In fact, I think that is definitely 1 page. So the ability to do that, I think, is really impressive. And one of the things that I think is going to be useful for you in your consulting business is to take a lot of the large work that you're doing, even if it's transcripts, you might have like these hour-long or multi-hour-long transcripts of content, and have it summarize them and actually create actions that are coming out of potential meetings and instructions like that. Now, there are other programs that you might want to use specifically for meetings and for transcriptions, but what I like about Chat GPT-4o is that all of these tools are starting to be collected in one place. And yes, there are other tools that you can use, but what I like about this one is it's continuing to evolve. It's the one that made the big news a bit over a year ago, and it's continuing to evolve, and I like that. It's one of the things when new technology comes out, is that especially when something as big as this artificial intelligence revolution that we're experiencing happens, technology moves at a rate of knots that we haven't seen before. And you will notice that if you are in your area of expertise, start looking at the artificial intelligence that other people are using. You'll see that in your area, there are now niche-based artificial intelligence tools that you can be using just in your area or your niche of expertise. Something like ChatGPT is a little broader, but it's a tool that I'm now using daily to brainstorm with, to get an understanding of maybe complex documentation or complex ideas even, and have it summarize and then help me work those ideas into what I'm doing now. So you might get a complex briefing, and maybe it's a large document that needs to be read. Yes, you can summarize it, but then you can also take the document and put it through a series of frameworks. You might use your favorite framework. Let's just take a simple one like SWOT. You might want to run a SWOT analysis against the document that you've received. And ChatGPT will be able to do that. It understands almost every management consulting framework out there. And if you're not sure whether it does understand it, you can ask it, do you understand this framework? And it will explain it back to you just to give you confidence that it knows what it's doing. One of the other things that it can do, and I'm just going to quickly jump across to show you this as well, is it can even, let's go up to here. We'll go up to our customization. So we can create GPTs. If you don't know what a GPT is, it's basically your own version of ChatGPT that does something specific. So with the paid version, you can create your own specific ChatGPT or your own specific GPT. So an example of that is I'm currently writing a large document. I might want to have a book writing GPT, which will enable me to have it specialize a little bit more with certain settings or certain preferences that I might put through. So custom GPTs are a great thing. The other thing is within the settings, you've even got some personalization for how you like to have things remembered. Also speech. You can have it talk to you a little bit like Iron Man and Jarvis now. So here's an example.
Hey, it's great to meet you. How's your day going? I'm really looking forward to working on...
Now you might not like that voice. It might be a little bit too enthusiastic. Well, here's another one.
Hey, I'm ready to hit the ground running. So if there's anything you'd like me to focus on first, just let me know.
And there are a bunch of other examples that you can go and play with as well. Now, what I like about that is that you can actually put the settings on your computer to receive speech to text. And so you can talk to your computer and it can talk back. And I've even done that when I want to be walking around the room, and I'll speak to the GPT and it'll talk back to me and we'll have a big conversation. And in some situations, I've lost time and an hour and a half has gone past where I've been brainstorming with the artificial intelligence and it's actually felt like a real partnership. So I'm not saying you have to get the paid version, but if you're not seriously considering artificial intelligence as becoming part of your business, then potentially you're not taking your business seriously, because this is where we're moving to. So if you're going to be in business if you want to be in business for longer than, I would say probably 3 to 5 years, then this needs to be part of your toolkit at the very least. Just like any of the frameworks and any of the processes and modalities that you use within your consulting business, this becomes one of the tools that you use to speed you up, to make you more efficient at the end of the day, because it's going to happen very, very fast. Be smarter than you are right now. So this has been episode 90 of the Your Consulting Business podcast. My name is Russell Pearson. And if you're interested in actually finding out more about not only technology, but how you can be growing your consulting practice, you might just want to get involved in the Consulting Guild, which is a low cost, but really highly valuable way of you to get education on a weekly basis that you can add to improve your consulting business. If you want to know more about that, you can go to theconsultingguild.com and you can apply to see if it is something that you would be interested in joining us in. Until next time, stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.